Hello guys, welcome to part 2 of mental mukbang. Oh my god! Yeah, it's part of the part 2. I don't have mental mukbang, so I have this. I'll do it later though. First I do the unboxing first. I have nothing to unbox.
What are you doing?
So this is yo, I'm Mr. Beast. I like touching kids and stuff. I'm Mr. Beast. How do you do it? You have this guy. He John Jetpack.
I'm hungry.
He John Jetpack. He John Jetpack.
Why is this thing high?
This guy, he has a gun. And you go, yo, I'm an American. I shoot people for no reason. Oh, well, it's time for the mukbang. Did you stop it yet? La di 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 la di 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 la di 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 la di 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 di. Hello guys, there's actually more to this video.
Which one was it?
The strawberry, you motherfucker.
Where is strawberry?
The strawberry. John Strawberry.
There's cherry.
It's cherry.
This thing?
It's a bubbly. No, fuck.
Where's the bubbly? Oh, over there?
No, just give me the cherry. Just give me the cherry. I hate how it tastes, but I have to do it. Wait, who holds my... Hello guys, I'm John. Fuck. Cherry Coke. Coca-Cola.
You have one take at this, and I'm the one gonna fail. Mommy, you won't. Dustin Lucas, Will Mike Max. Dustin Lucas, Will Mike Max, me. Dustin Lucas, Will Mike Max. Dustin Lucas, Will Mike Max. Ew. I just found that. I think I didn't like that.
How about the new Ford? She's on the... This shit sucks, man.
Okay.
I fucking lied. The video not done. Hold on. What the fucking... What the type of fucking shit is this? This is chicken.